Hey mom friends, I have a confession. I'm struggling. We have gone from pandemic to protests in a blink of an eye. Our country has been through so much in the past few months. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't struggling. And I just wanted to share some things I've been thinking about. One is I am actually surprised at how ignorant I am about how blacks have been treated in our country. I don't know if this has been subconscious or on purpose or just where I live. I live in a predominantly white area, white neighborhood. My kids go to a school that's mostly white, and I'm processing what that even means. I'm ignorant about the systemic racism in my life, in my country, the things I believe, so I'm challenging myself. I'm being challenged. I'm also ignorant about our police system and how a few bad apples ruin it for everyone. I believe that can't have bad apples in the police system. And I know a lot of police officers. I know a lot of police officers' wives. My dad was a police officer. We have those, in our family, and so I'm processing those things as well. On top of the whole pandemic quarantine thing, and so, I'm like, what can I do? I'm not one to protest. That's just not something I'm feeling called to do, or I'm not sure if that's really what's going to help. My children, a few of my kids have been in protests, and they are processing in their own ways and writing at the end of our driveway about how Black lives matter and that everyone should be treated with love and kindness. So I'm really excited to see them, processing that and standing up for what's right. But so something that I guess I just thought I could do immediately is share resources. As I educate myself and become less ignorant and more empathetic and more understanding and more I allow my heart to be penetrated with this injustice. As I come across resources, I want to share them with you on my social media posts. How to educate our children, and it's not too young. There's so many baby books about race and raising an anti-racist child, children. And there's really good podcasts out there right now and movies. So I'm working on sharing those with you. And then before all this came to, the point of nationwide protests, I have been working on what I can do about the COVID quarantine pandemic stuff. I am not one to sew masks. I have a friend that has sewn, I think she said, a couple hundred masks and just giving them away. She's not making any money. And there are people who have been dropping off goodie bags and shopping for people who don't want to go into the stores because they have a compromised loved one at home. I hear a lot from moms how this has affected them. First of all, if they're working, now they're working at home with their children at home and trying to educate their children as well. How does that work? The level of stress and frustration. I wanted to do something. So I chose 3 moms who represent probably some of the really hard situations in this pandemic. And one is a high school English teacher. And so she is busy working from home as a teacher, trying to get her students to do the work she's assigning, even though it doesn't count. on top of educating her own two little children and everything in between. So you will be hearing about her. Her name is Jessica. You will also be having the privilege to meet Elle. She is a military veteran, and her husband is a drill sergeant in the Navy. And I'll give you a little sneak peek. One day he went to work. Then they told him they're shutting down. He couldn't go home for 90 days. Imagine that. No preparation, no warning. It's not like a deployment where you could at least prepare and set up some childcare. So Elle hasn't been able to get any childcare because of the quarantine and the social distancing, and she had to mom it alone for 90 days. And then my friend Cara, who is an emergency room nurse, and so she has seen her fair share of intubators and people struggling and being affected by the virus itself. And then the worry about coming home with it to her three little ones. On top of her husband trying to finish medical school, and 2 weeks shy of his finishing, they canceled it. And he can't start up again until next year, 2021. So those are some of the stories that I'm going to be bringing you to just share how their strength has shown themselves in this crazy time, as well as just giving them the support that they need. I wanted to reach out to them, so this was totally pro bono for them, because I just feel like I can give during this time. That's how I can help. So how can you help during these times of trial? Do you have something to offer that costs you time or money, but will pay off in the end, because it will affect lives, it will make people stronger, it will give them courage, and their children will hear about what you did for their mom or their friend or their relative, and that might spur them on to do something similar too. So I just thought I'd come in here and share with you what I've been up to and encourage you to do something great, because these times we need to work together. Bye, mom friends.